Greetings, ladies and gentlefish. Welcome to another subscriber replay, and we're going to be looking at a couple of games from Tanker 3069 in this video. I've shown some of his games before, although it's been a little while since we saw any of his gameplay. He does seem to like his Soviet heavy tanks, and indeed both of these games are going to be from Soviet, well, heavies. Kicking off proceedings with the IS. Now, Tanker is actually platooned up with Sir Kozik, and if you're paying attention to chat right at the beginning of battle, you might have noticed that these are not like clanmates or anything like that. I don't think these guys previously knew each other, but they're platooning up, playing some games and having a bit of a laugh. Sorry about that. So they're both driving the IS. This is the Tier 7 Soviet heavy tank, and they are top tier. This is a Tier 7 match. And we're here on Winterberg. Not Winterberg. Windstorm. That's the map. Windstorm has this kind of town area where you tend to find the heavies duke it out, and then these sort of annoying little hilly area towards the top. I'm not a huge fan of the map, but whatever. 390 alpha damage against a Tier 5 heavy tank, even if it is a horrendously overpowered Tier 5 heavy tank, tends to offend. And there goes. Actually, it was a bang on average damage roll, but there goes over half of that fellow's health. Now, you can actually use this 122mm gun on the Su-85. Su-85? Good lord. KV-85 at Tier 6. And back in the day when the KV-1S was Tier 6, that was the gun of choice. But on the KV-85, the gun has problems. And so you often see people using the 100mm instead. Anyway, Sir Kozik starts paying his way, finishing off that Jagdpanther for the platoon's first kill. And there's a VK3601H. VK puts a shot into Tanker, but it only damages his tracks. Tanker returns the favour and doesn't do any damage to the VK in return. The VK's armour isn't fantastic, but if you don't have a chance to fully aim with this gun, yeah, you know, you can get some good results. He's using the short 88mm gun, so Tanker shouldn't have too much to fear from that weapon. Low damage roll against him, which is a little bit unfortunate, but there we go. There's also artillery off in the background in the shape of that mighty Burt. There we go, there's another chunk of that guy's health taken away, and an enemy Cromwell Berlin is also having a go, as well as an ISU-122S, but Sir Kozik's got that covered for kill number 2. Tanker finishes off the VK, and that's platoon kill number 3, but he does take a hit from the Cromwell Berlin in the process. Lining up a shot on the FV-304 artillery piece, and there's kill number 2 and kill number 4 for the platoon. Scoreline, however, is still 6 apiece. And Sir Kozik saying BIA in chat. Yes, they've got 2 kills apiece, so if they can rack up 3 kills apiece and neither of them die, that is, of course, a Brothers in Arms medal, which would be quite nice. Now, we've still got this Cromwell Berlin to worry about. Sorry, I say that just as Sir Kozik racks up his 3rd kill, taking out the VK, Tier 5 German heavy tank. There's still this Cromwell Berlin somewhere. There he is. Is he going to be brave enough to come out and have a go if he thinks he's hard enough? It appears he is, but there's the terrible, terrible aiming stats on this gun. And he bounces a shot. Now, this Cromwell is really not aiming his shots particularly well, / at all, and he pays for that little attempt at heroism with half his health. Now, Tanker does actually low roll on the guy, slightly, which is a bit frustrating. You'd usually pretty reliably 2-shot the Cromwell Berlin, but he rolls for 391, a minimum of 391 on the 2nd shot to pick up the kill. Now, the friendly team have successfully pushed through toward the enemy base. However, conversely, the enemy team have successfully pushed on toward the friendly base. And so, Tanker and Kozik have seen this and are heading back to base like sensible people that they are. And the IS here, I mean, it's a heavy tank, but it's not exactly that slow a machine. It will happily move along at 30-35 kilometers an hour in the game. Tanker has been spotted, which is a little bit unfortunate, but he's trying to get a shot on this Tiger. Tiger is, of course, top tier heavy tank, a very dangerous machine, but also has pretty terrible armour, especially when showing his rear. So if Tanker can put a shot into him, that would be very nice. Leaves the guy a 1-shot. E25 unfortunately finishes off the FV. The Tiger has decided that his best course of action is to sit there and slowly turn his turret. Spoiler alert, it wasn't his best course of action, and Tanker puts him out of his misery to bring the platoon kill count to 8. 4 apiece as they evenly split it. There's 3 enemy tanks remaining, E-25, Nashorn and the AMX ELC BIS. Now they can all be quite dangerous little machines. The armour on the IS is not fantastic and is certainly not good enough to reliably stand up to the guns of either the ELC or the Nashorn. Could bounce the E-25 a few shots, depends if the E-25 double taps 2 to kind of go, haha, you think you have armour, that's cute, or not, but well, remains to be seen. Friendly team are capping, but I don't think that's going to be for too much longer, if I'm honest. Nashorn over here is not having a very good day. Oh, slightly low damage roll. Not that you can really complain when you hit someone for over 350 at tier 7, let's be honest. But they do lose the Jackson and the Churchill in the process, so it's just this friendly Tiger and then Tanker's platoon. The enemy E-25, it's worth pointing out, has put himself on a Top Gun now. That's a very dangerous machine in a tier 7 match, and of course with its limited matchmaking it gets tier 7 games relatively often. Friendly Tiger has full health, so he can soak a couple of shots here, and the E-25 is perhaps being a little optimistic. But Soviet 122mm guns, that's the reason why I generally hate them. Reliable they are not. Funny when they hit they are, but not really reliable. Tanker, however, oh, that was a little bit cheeky. It looked like he waited for the Tiger to shoot the guy to secure the kill himself. I could be wrong, that's just what it looked like. ELC is on 79 health. And oh no. I thought he was about to go to the Spirit in the Sky, but apparently not. ISs are closing in on him though. I mean, you'd think this guy's days are numbered. Somehow, however, he is successfully managing to not die. I mean, let's be honest, the ELC is a tiny little machine. It's relatively easy to dodge shells in it, and it's quite difficult to hit and all that jazz. Tanker is saying just cap, and it's entirely fair because that guy is just such an annoying little blighter. Chasing him down, just be a nightmare. So Tanker is heading towards the capture circle. Other 2 teammates are still going for the ELC, but that's absolutely fine. And if you're paying attention to chat, you may well notice that the platoon has a cunning plan. A plan so cunning you could pin a tail on it and call it a fox. Anyway, Tanker is capping. I'm just going to speed this along a little bit because watching an IS sit in the capture circle is not the most exciting thing in the world to do. Let's be honest. Be interesting to see if the enemy ELC actually comes back to defend his capture circle or not. If I were him I would, but that's me. You'll notice they have invited a friendly T-43 to join their platoon, bringing the platoon kill count to 11. 5 for Tanker, 4 for Sarkozik, and 2 for that T-43. There's the ELC. And no, ELC is not having any of those shenanigans. And he's hiding himself behind a rock. Now, Tanker has decided, screw this, I was going to go and kill him. The ELC only has 70-odd health left. Tanker really doesn't have to do much to him. In fact, a HE round would do the job here. But the ELC is going to run for it. Someone cue the Benny Hill theme. And as it is, Sarkozik manages to ambush the ELC and pick up the kill. So, let's go and have a look at the post-battle results for this one. So that game for Tanker was good enough for Ace Tanker, Duelist, Fighter, Fire for Effect, High Caliber, and, because of that cheeky platoon invite, the platoon actually got 12 kills between them, and so they picked up the crucial contribution. Interesting to point out, however, that although they picked up the crucial contribution by inviting that T-43, inviting him also lost them a Brothers in Arms medal. Both Tanker and Sarkozik were on more than 3 kills, and they had both survived. And so they were on track for a Brothers in Arms, but they traded that in for the crucial contribution. But, you know, swings and roundabouts. 3,462 damage from Tanker, 5 kills, 1,276 base experience, 2,400 damage and 5 kills from Sir Kozik. Tiger put in 1,000 damage, and that T-43 put in just shy of 1,000 damage. On the enemy team, commiserations to the ELC, Tier 5 light tank, Tier 7 game, almost 2,000 damage, not enough for a win. And his platoon mate, the E-25, you may wonder why that platoon, but the E-25 gets limited matchmaking, so it never sees worse than Tier 8 games, and the ELC gets scout matchmaking, which means the worst it sees are Tier 8 games. Sorry about that. So, yeah, it's not the worst platoon in the world. He picked up 6 kills, but only with 1,700 damage. A little bit of kill securing just there. Tanker fired 15 shots, of which 12 hit and 11 penetrated for that damage count. Received 8 hits, 1 penetration, most of them didn't, blocking 845 damage, all with his armour. Once you take away ammunition resupply costs, bearing in mind that gun costs about 1,000 credits every time you pull the trigger, and some small repair costs, Tanker made a 25,000 credit profit with a standard account. With a premium account, that would have been a 46,000 credit profit. So people often say that tiers 5 and 6 are the most profitable, but you can definitely still come away with a very nice profit on tier 7 machines as well, even if they're not premium tanks. Alright, let's move on to game number 2, still with Tanker. So moving up a couple of tiers this time, we're going from the IS at tier 7 to the IS-8 at tier 9. All these numbers get a little bit confusing, I will be honest. Especially when you look at the Soviet tank numbering system, because some were prototypes and they didn't actually reach production and all that jazz. It means things like the IS-6 is a tier 8, whereas the IS-4 is a tier 10, the IS-8 is a tier 9, the IS-3 is a tier 8, the IS is a regular tier 7, the IS-2, depending on whether you're looking at the Chinese or the Russian tech tree, is either a tier 7 heavy or a tier 7 premium heavy. The IS-5 is a Clan Wars reward. I mean, good lord. Anyway. The IS-8. Now this has, since this game, because this is a patch 9.10 game, this tank has been given a bit of a revamp. The armor was buffed, basically, and it was redesignated the T10. Now historically, T10, IS-8, they're two designations for the same machine. So all Wargaming have done is given it the other name, which I guess aids when it comes to confusion or lack thereof. So the IS-8, really, it's a bit of a heavy-medium hybrid. It definitely has a heavy tank gun. This 122mm gun has about 250 pen and 440 alpha damage. The same gun you use on the ST-1, the IS-4, the SU-101, or you can use it on that tank, the SU-122-54, and so on and so forth. So it's quite a popular gun in the Soviet tech tree. Hello, Mr. T-34-3. But the armour on the IS-8 isn't fantastic. It's the main, I guess, drawback of the tank. So it's a heavy tank gun with armour that's alright but not great, and mobility that's somewhere in between a heavy and a medium tank. So it's relatively mobile for a heavy tank. The gun's fairly decent, but the armour leaves a little bit to be desired. Since the rework, I should point out this... I mean, this was never... Generally speaking, this wasn't a particularly popular tank, but since it's been revamped, its popularity appears to have risen. Anyway, onto the game in question. This is a tier 9 game, so again, Tanker is top tier. He's not in a platoon this time, he's all by himself. And, yeah, I know my singing voice is terrible. And we are here on Kharkov. Now, T-30 has fired, and so Tanker takes the opportunity to put a shot into him. Kharkov? Yes, this is Kharkov. I'm probably mispronouncing that. But I'm British, it's my prerogative. So Tanker's team is actually trailing here 5-3, and the Black Prince there was shooting high explosive ammo. Hoorah! I mean, 76mm high explosive in a tier 9 game's never going to do anything. Oh, but the Black Prince can't penetrate anything in a tier 9 game. He was fighting a T-30. The hull of the T-30 is pretty trashy. He could have done a lot more there. Now, Tanker does manage to pick up the kill on the T-30, although he does trade that for a shot in the side from a Jagdpanther 2, and that 128mm gun really does hurt. So Tanker is now down below 1,000 health. But well, actually, and the team are still trailing by 2 kills, which is a little unfortunate, but there we go. 1 kill as they nail the oh-so-lethal AMX M445. Oh noes. Whatever would they have done had he survived? Now, the enemy team has actually pushed fairly hard down the 9 and 0 lines, and so they are actually in the friendly base, which is not a particularly good situation. And the Tiger takes out the friendly T-28 heavy tank concept. Tanker takes a shot there, just about managing to hit that guy. I was convinced when he pulled the trigger that that was going to miss, but apparently not. And he shaves off about a third of that Jagdpanther 2's health. Bit over a third. Now, the Jagdpanther 2 and the IS-4 both have quite punchy guns. In fact, the Jagdpanther 2 actually has higher alpha damage. But, well, let's be honest, oh dear, no. The IS-8 has the health to just, if he wanted to, and I'm not suggesting that Tanker should have done this, but if he wanted to, he has the health just to go and tank a shot or two and kill the Jagdpanther 2. That wouldn't necessarily be a great trade, because the Jagdpanther 2 is, of course, tier 8, takes the shot, damages Tanker's tracks, Tanker repairs them, comes forward, and plonks a big shot straight through the front of that Jagdpanther 2. And the team are now trailing by, well, it was 4 kills, now it's 3 kills, the scoreline, of course, being 9-12. Side-scraping with these Soviet tanks can be a bit dubious because of this pike nose. You end up potentially giving people shots into sort of an unangled surface. But as it turned out, both of those shots went into Tanker's tracks. Now, there's only 2 tanks left on Tanker's team, himself and the friendly T-54 Mod 1. There's 1 tank left on Tanker's team, and that is himself, and he is against a whole bunch of bad guys. There's a T-29, there goes the T-29. Thankfully, some of them are on fairly low health, including, for example, that T-29, but, oh, and the AMX-30. Now, he might take a hit here, Wiggle. No, okay. He managed to shotgun the AMX-30, and there's a Lorraine 40-ton. I assume this guy is reloading, otherwise I think he would be trying to engage Tanker here. But as it is, he's not, and so, he's dead. 2 left. AMX 1390 and the Tiger P. Notice all these guys are on wonderfully low health. Now, AMX 1390, it looked like he was dropping down. There he is. Misses his shot. He's really going to struggle to penetrate the front of an IS-8 with that gun, assuming he's firing regular armor-piercing ammo. Tanker pops up along the ridgeline. AMX does actually put a shot into his side. It's difficult coming up on those rises in this tank because of your slightly dubious gun depression, and that just leaves Tanker alone against a Tiger P. Now, on the one hand, Tiger P is only a tier 7 tank. On the other hand, he is full health, Tanker is not, and assuming the Tiger P is using the top gun, that long 88mm gun is perfectly capable of putting the hurt down on the IS-8. So this is not a foregone conclusion. It depends how each play this. Tanker is using the wreck in front of him for cover, which is eminently sensible, and it looks like that Tiger P may not be fully upgraded. If he's using what it looks like is the short 88mm gun, then I feel very sorry for him, and he is essentially 7 different kinds of screwed. Even if he were to double tap 2 and spam APCR, he'd die. You know, 177 penetration is not enough to reliably penetrate the IS-8's front. Having said that, Tanker takes a rather dodgy shot there at the angled side of the Tiger P. Looking at it again, maybe the Tiger P does have the top gun, but if he does, he really shouldn't have come this close, because now Tanker can just turret hug him, and while the Tiger P would be able to penetrate the hull of the IS-8 with relative ease, the turret is a trickier prospect. Tanker takes a shot, low rolls, not that an average roll would have done the job, leaves the guy on not a lot of health. It looks like this guy is just spamming high explosive at Tanker, and if that guy had been firing armor piercing instead of high explosive right there, I'm pretty sure with a carefully aimed shot Tanker would have died. He only had 184 health remaining, but thankfully this was the game where tier 7s decided that the way they could make the best impact on the game was by spamming HE at people out of low caliber guns, and as a result Tanker is able to finish him off, although his IS-8 has taken a bit of a ferocious beating as he carries that game. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the results for this one. So, there we go, that was good enough for Ace Tanker, Hand of God, Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, Steel Wall, High Caliber, Top Gun, and, because he was outnumbered, 5 versus 1 at the end and still managed to pull a win out of his something. He got the Kolobanov's medal there. Very nicely done indeed. If we order things by XP, he finished at the top of his team with 5,477 damage done and 7 kills, 1,497 base experience. Also worth pointing out, Wall 878 in the Conqueror, 5.3k damage and 3 kills. That was a good performance from him. And commiserations to the enemy AMX-30 prototype, 3.7k damage, 2 kills. Not enough for the win there. And indeed the Lorraine put in a respectable performance with 2.6k damage. Well, 2.7 if you want to round. Tanker fired 18 shots there, of which 17 hit and 16 penetrated for that damage count. Received 11 hits, about half of them penetrated. 1,480 damage blocked by his armour. Spotted 1 enemy tank, damaged 8, killed 7, and even with a standard account he made a profit of 14,000 credits, even though that was a tier 9 tank. It would have been a 40,000 credit profit without a premium account, and at the time it was a ×5 experience event special, so Tanker walked away with a very nice amount of XP. Also worth pointing out, Tanker clearly likes that machine, as he has 2 marks of excellence on the gun barrel, despite not loading a single round of premium ammunition, and having quite a lot of HE rounds. If I was going to be honest, I think that's a few too many HE rounds, but I've not played the IS-8, maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, that was a pair of heavy tank games from Tanker. I hope you guys enjoyed them. If you did, by all means feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.